My heels click against the polished marble of my apartment building's lobby. The echo feels lonely, bouncing back at me like a question I can't answer. I am Hannah Monroe, 31, senior marketing strategist at one of Chicago's top firms. I live alone in a compact, tastefully decorated apartment on the 22nd floor, overlooking the city skyline. Some days I feel like I've earned this. My promotion, my corner office, the occasional praise from the CEO. Other days, the walls feel like they're closing in, reminding me of what I've always known. No one ever celebrated me the way they celebrated my brother. It's Tuesday, my birthday. A date that once meant cakes, candles, and laughter. Now, it's just another day marked by silence. I check my phone. Nothing. 0 messages, 0 missed calls. I tell myself it doesn't matter. I'm a grown woman. Birthdays are for children. After all. The elevator doors slide open and I step inside, my reflection looking back at me. Tired brown eyes, pulled together hair, the faintest smudge of makeup after a long day. I sigh, remembering all the birthdays I've spent alone. And then I see the photos. Social media, that modern window into other people's lives. My brother, Ethan Monroe, 34, smiling with friends and family. Behind him, a banner shouts, "Congratulations on your promotion." My parents' arms draped around him. He's the center of everything, as always. My birthday? Forgotten. The memories hit like a fist. 11 years old, waiting at a restaurant for my family to return from his debate tournament. 17, shipped off to grandma's house while my parents toured universities with him. College graduation, overshadowed by his engagement announcement. Every milestone eclipsed. A soft chime pulls me out of my spiral. An email pops up, my year-end bonus. $79,500. My hands tremble as I stare at the numbers, more than I've ever had at once. And suddenly, a thought forms, fragile but thrilling. Maybe this year I won't wait for anyone to celebrate me. Maybe this year I'll do it myself. I glance around my empty apartment and imagine it differently. A small celebration for me. A toast to myself. To the years I've been overlooked. To the woman I've become despite it all. The city lights blink outside my window, indifferent, but I feel a surge of possibility. For the first time in 31 years, maybe the story can change. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if birthdays, achievements, or celebrations always went to someone else, stay with me. This is my story, my revenge, and my triumph. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. The next morning, I drag myself out of bed, the sunlight stabbing through the blinds. Coffee in hand, I scroll through my phone again. Messages from friends, coworkers, a few warm birthday wishes, but none from the people who should have been first. My parents, my brother. Silence from them, as usual. I remind myself, this is my life, my career, my achievements, my birthday. But old habits die hard. A pang of resentment curls in my chest. Every achievement I've had has been a solo climb, while Ethan's path has always been lined with cheering crowds, whether earned or not. By mid-morning, I find myself at the office, where the rhythm of deadlines and campaigns offers a small refuge from family ghosts. My assistant, Lila, greets me with a bright smile and a small cupcake. "Happy birthday, Hannah, from me and the team," she says. A simple gesture, but it feels monumental. I smile, swallowing back the frustration, but it lingers, sharp as a knife. My eyes wander to the office window, staring out at the city. The world continues outside, unaware of my private battles, unaware that while Ethan's milestones have always been loud and celebrated, mine have been quiet and invisible. Midday brings a meeting with a high-profile client. I deliver my presentation flawlessly, every slide polished, every statistic precise. Applause follows. A colleague whispers, "Hannah, you're amazing." I nod, but internally, a thought simmers. If only my family recognized this. Back at my desk, I check my email again. Among the usual work notifications is a new thread, a family group chat. I hadn't been included before, but this time, somehow, an accidental invite slipped through. I open it, my stomach tightening, threads filled, with discussions about Ethan, his promotion, plans for his anniversary, gifts, celebrations. At the bottom, my name appears, spelled wrong, of course. 1 instead of 2 N's. My parents aren't even conscious of the error, just another tiny dismissal. I close the laptop, exhaling slowly. The office feels suddenly claustrophobic, the glass walls pressing in. I think about the birthdays, the graduations, the milestones that never truly belonged to me because no one bothered to see me. Lila knocks gently on my office door. "Everything okay?" she asks. I smile, a little wryly. Better than okay, just planning my revenge, in my own way. The words feel powerful, not loud, not confrontational, but deliberate. I've spent 31 years waiting for acknowledgement from the people who never gave it. This year, it's different. This year, I will celebrate myself, and on my terms. As the day ends, I glance at my bonus statement again. The numbers gleam like opportunity, and for the first time, I feel it. Not anger, not sadness, but a spark of possibility. The kind that comes from realizing you can finally be your own hero. That evening, my apartment feels smaller than usual. The walls, decorated with years of careful curation, seem to close in as I sit cross-legged on the couch, laptop perched on my knees. I open a blank document, fingers hovering over the keyboard, the weight of intention pressing down. For years, I've allowed my family to dictate the emotional calendar of my life. Birthdays, holidays, achievements, all secondary to Ethan's milestones. But tonight, the script changes. Tonight, I start writing a new story, one where I am the protagonist, not the supporting character. I pull up real estate listings, lakefront properties, small towns in Michigan, anywhere far enough to feel like a world apart, yet close enough that I can escape to it on weekends. Each listing I scroll past fuels a sense of liberation. Wide windows, wooden decks, the scent of pine drifting through imagined corridors. I can see it in my mind. The walls filled with my awards, my moments, my victories. I sip my coffee, thinking about my bonus again. $82,000, more money than I've ever had at once. Not that it's about the money, it's about autonomy, control, finally having the freedom to make choices that center on me. A ping interrupts my thoughts. A message from Lila. "You okay? You seem focused." I smile at the screen. Focused. Yes, but more than that. Determined. "I'm plotting a little personal project," I type back. She responds with a laughing emoji and a thumbs up. The plan begins to crystallize. First, secure a property, something that feels like sanctuary. Second, curate it entirely to my taste. Finally, I decide, announce it to the world, not in a boastful way, but as a quiet declaration. This is my life, my choices, my birthday, my celebration. I close my eyes, imagining my family's reaction. Not fear, not anger. Well, maybe a little anger, but surprise, shock, the realization that for once they aren't in control. My life doesn't revolve around their narratives or their celebrations. It revolves around me. The night stretches on. I make calls to realtors, schedule viewings, and jot down ideas for how each room could look. The more I plan, the more I feel it. The empowerment that comes from creating something entirely for yourself. By the time midnight rolls around, I step onto my balcony, the city lights glittering below. A soft wind brushes my face. I take a deep breath and smile. For the first time in years, my birthday doesn't feel like a reminder of absence. It feels like the beginning of something entirely mine. And just like that, the spark ignites. The spark of self-celebration. The spark of quiet rebellion. The spark that promises, this year I won't wait for anyone to see me. I will make them notice. Tuesday morning arrives with the usual rush. The hum of the city below my apartment, a constant reminder of deadlines and obligations. Yet today I feel a strange sense of calm. The city pulses, but I am unshaken. My coffee steams gently beside me as I review the notes for the day, but my mind keeps drifting back to the lake house listings. I think about Ethan, My family's golden child, the one whose accomplishments always outshined mine. Every birthday forgotten, every achievement minimized. My chest tightens with old frustration, but it's different now. That tightness is no longer despair, it's determination. I open the first email from the realtor, a 4-bedroom lakefront property, cedar deck wrapping around 3 sides. Windows that catch the morning light just right. Price, $365,000. My pulse quickens. This isn't just about money. It's about claiming a space where I exist first, where I am the priority. As I scroll through photos, I picture myself there, poring over my awards, hanging my favorite paintings, placing Mrs. Bennett's quilt on the guest bed, arranging books I've always wanted to read. This is where I will rewrite my story, where the family narratives that never included me won't matter. A knock on my apartment door jolts me from reverie. Jennifer steps in, carrying her usual warmth and a thermos of coffee. "You're plotting something," she teases, eyeing the laptop screen. I close it slowly, giving her a small smile. "Maybe I am," I say lightly. Her eyes search mine, sensing the shift. "This change, it suits you." Her words feel like a lifeline, a tether to the world that values me, that sees me. I nod, appreciating the weight of her support. Later, as the city swirls below, I make my decision. I will view the property tomorrow. I will make this mine, and I will do it unapologetically. No calls to my family, no explanations. This is my life, and for once, they won't control the narrative. Evening falls, and I step onto the balcony, again. The skyline glitters, reflections of neon and glass dancing on the river. For the first time, I realize the truth. I've spent decades trying to gain approval from people who never truly saw me. But I don't need their validation anymore. Not for birthdays, not for achievements, not for my existence. I lift my coffee mug, a small toast to myself. To the beginnings of self-ownership. To the life I will create. To the birthdays I will finally celebrate on my terms. Tomorrow, everything changes. And for the first time, I feel the thrill of absolute freedom. The morning sun glimmers across Lake Michigan as I drive north, each mile taking me closer to a future I've only dared imagine. The air smells like pine and freedom, and I feel lighter than I have in years. Jennifer called early, a cheerful reminder that I don't have to do this alone. But this choice, this first bold step, is mine. The gravel crunches beneath my tires as I pull into the driveway of the lake house. The wooden deck gleams under the sunlight, and the water shimmers, reflecting the clouds in playful patterns. The realtor, a friendly woman named Karen, greets me with enthusiasm. "They've kept it immaculate," she says, opening the door. I step inside and breathe deeply, inhaling the faint scent of cedar and possibility. Room by room, I explore, my imagination painting it with life. The living room, with its wide windows, will host winter reading afternoons. The kitchen, bright and open, already has my favorite cookware in mind. I walk up the stairs, pausing at the master bedroom. The sunlight streams through the windows, highlighting the view of the lake. I close my eyes and picture myself here. Mornings spent with coffee and quiet reflection, evenings with friends gathered for laughter and warmth. "This is the one," I say finally, turning to Karen. She smiles knowingly. "You don't even need to think about it, do you?" "No," I say, voice firm, feeling a thrill of certainty. "This is for me." Signing the papers feels like more than paperwork. It's a declaration. My signature on each page, a testament to independence, self-respect, and finally setting boundaries with the family who never truly supported me. Karen hands me the keys, her palm warm against mine. "Congratulations," she says. "You deserve this." Driving back toward the city, I can't stop smiling. The world feels expansive, full of potential. I call Jennifer to share the news. Her laughter over the phone is pure joy, and I realize, for the first time, that I don't need to explain myself to anyone else. That night, back in my apartment, I start planning. Furniture, curtains, decorations, bookshelves. I make lists in neat handwriting, my excitement spilling across the pages. This is the first time in years that I'm building something entirely for me, not for family appearances or approval. And as I drift off to sleep, I imagine the lake at dawn, the mist rising, the water calm and infinite. I imagine myself there, finally seen, finally celebrated, not for anyone else's pride, but for my own worth. The future stretches ahead, unbroken, and I feel ready. This is more than a house. It's freedom, independence, and the reclamation of my life. And no one, not even my family, will take that away from me. Monday morning brings the usual hum of Chicago traffic, but I'm unshaken. The apartment feels smaller somehow, as if it knew I had claimed something bigger, brighter, waiting for me by the lake. Jennifer meets me at the office with her usual grin. "So, tell me everything," she says, peeking at my coffee cup like it might spill secrets. I lean back in my chair, letting the moment stretch. "I bought it," I say simply. "Lake House, Michigan, all mine." Her eyebrows shoot up, then her face breaks into that grin only she can manage. "Finally, about time someone celebrated you properly." At my desk, emails flood in, clients praising last week's campaign, colleagues inviting me for celebratory drinks, and somewhere in the middle, a text from Mrs. Bennett, "Did you get the keys yet? Can't wait to see the place." My heart swells. These are the people who see me, not the ones who pretend to care. Then my phone vibrates with multiple missed calls. 8, 9, 10. From my mother, my father, Miles. The family's attempts to infiltrate my newfound autonomy. I ignore them, for now. Today is about building my life, not reliving the past. Lunch is spent with Jennifer, plotting furniture placement, color palettes, and plans for my first weekend at the lake. "You're doing more than just buying a house," she says. "You're claiming your space, your life." Her words linger as I return to my office. The city skyline stretches beyond the glass walls, glinting in the afternoon sun. I can almost see myself on that wooden deck, feeling the breeze and listening to the waves lap against the shore. This is mine. Every decision, every corner, every quiet moment, mine. By evening, the family barrage intensifies. My father leaves voicemails layered with concern and thinly veiled anger. My mother's emails grow desperate. "Quinn, please call, we just want to talk." And Miles texts, demanding answers, explanations, apologies. But I sit quietly, sipping tea, feeling a strange calm. For the first time, I can respond on my terms. I draft a single text to all three, short, precise. I have made my choice. I will not discuss it further. Thank you. Sent. The release is immediate. The tension dissolves, replaced with something rarer. Power. I close my laptop and pick up a notebook, sketching ideas for the living room, bedroom, kitchen, the spaces that will soon belong entirely to me. Night falls, and I lie in bed, phone deliberately out of reach. I replay the day in my mind, laughter with Jennifer, the sunlight on the lake in my imagination, the calm certainty of knowing I finally chose myself. The past years of birthdays forgotten, achievements overlooked, and silent dismissals have taught me a lesson. I am enough. My life is mine to build. Tomorrow, the work week begins anew. The city will hum, clients will call, emails will flood in, but the lake will wait, patient, serene, and untouched by the demands of others. And once I am untouchable too. For the first time, I felt them notice me. Not the me who bends to their schedules, their expectations, or their excuses, but the me who finally said no. Tuesday morning, and my phone is silent. I almost feel guilty, but then I remember this. Silence is mine. Coffee in hand, I gaze out over Chicago, imagining the lake stretching endlessly under the rising sun. Jennifer bursts into my office, her energy like a tornado. "Your family hasn't stopped calling, texting, emailing. It's chaos." I grin, calm, collected. "Let them be," I say. Today is about progress, not panic. The first meeting is with a new client, one who has been hesitant to commit. As I present, confident and poised, I catch the approving nods from my team. Each gesture, each word I choose, reinforces the truth I've been learning. When I focus on myself, I thrive. The applause at the end of the presentation feels different. This time, earned, deserved, untainted by anyone else's approval. During lunch, I glance at my phone. Messages from my mother have multiplied. We need to talk. We are worried. Miles is frustrated. Call us. My father's voicemail drones on about family values and responsibilities. Miles's texts alternate between guilt-tripping and demand. I do not respond. Instead, I open my laptop and revisit listings for the lake house, imagining furniture, painting colors, and decorations. I jot down a list of projects, each more exciting than the last. The thought that I am building something, permanent, something mine, fills me with warmth. For years, I had chased validation from people incapable of giving it. Now validation isn't a chase, it's a state of being. Later, Jennifer calls. We need a plan for the weekend. Lake house. What are we tackling first? I laugh, a soft, full-bodied laugh that surprises me. Everything, I reply. Every room, every corner, every detail. Let's make it ours. By evening, the family's messages reach a crescendo. My mother's desperation, my father's authority, Miles's thinly veiled frustration, they all collide in one chaotic storm. I read each one once, then lock my phone away. I realize something crucial. Their attempts to control me are no longer my problem. I have built a fortress of calm, creativity, and purpose. I sketch more ideas for the lake house, imagining myself sipping wine on the deck as the sun sets. I let the city's noise fade into the background. Here, in my mind, I have reclaimed birthdays, achievements, and every moment stolen by their indifference. That night, I fall asleep with a smile. Tomorrow, I will take the first steps to turn vision into reality. The lake is waiting, patient and infinite, just like my resolve. Saturday arrives with a brisk wind that rustles the trees outside my apartment. I sip my latte, glancing at the list of items I need for the lake house. Jennifer arrives carrying rolls of fabric, paint samples, and a grin that never quits. Ready to conquer? She asks. I nod. This isn't just decorating, it's reclaiming. Space, reclaiming joy, reclaiming myself. The drive to Michigan is quiet. For once, I enjoy the silence rather than fear it. No guilt, no hovering parents, no expectations. Just me, the road, and the thought of an empty lake house waiting to be filled with laughter, warmth, and my choices. When we arrive, the place feels larger than in the photos. Sunlight streams through the wide windows, casting golden rectangles across wooden floors. I inhale deeply, feeling a surge of ownership, of freedom. This is ours, I whisper almost reverently. Jennifer rolls her eyes, teasing, You say that like we're partners in crime. Inside, we unpack. Furniture arrives and we begin arranging rooms with a creative freedom I've never known. In the master bedroom, I hang a small sign reading, Birthday Suite, a nod to the years my own birthdays were ignored. In the kitchen, I leave a note for myself. Create memories here. Messages start coming in. My mother, frantic, asks for updates. My father's texts are curt and demanding. Miles's emojis range from confused to angry. I read each one, a strange calm settling over me. None require a response. Not today. I focus on painting the guest. Room a soft, welcoming teal, imagining friends and colleagues laughing here, feeling seen, feeling celebrated. Later, Jennifer sets up a small speaker. Music floats through the air. The sound of my own laughter joins in. I post a photo online, a simple image of the lake house deck, sunlight glinting off the water. Caption, birthday gift. To myself. By evening, exhaustion sets in, but it's a satisfying kind. We collapse on the deck, legs dangling, watching the sun sink behind the horizon. You're glowing, Jennifer says. I smile. For the first time, I feel that glow. Warm, earned, real. At night, I sit alone with a glass of wine, the lake reflecting stars like scattered diamonds. I consider the flood of messages waiting at home. Guilt? Anger? I feel none. This is my sanctuary, my boundaries. In tangible form. I finally understand. Choosing myself is not selfish. It's survival, growth, empowerment, and tomorrow I'll continue building. Not just a house, but a life defined by me, for me. Monday morning feels different. The city hums with its usual energy, but inside me, there's an unusual serenity. I walk into Horizon Brands, laptop in hand, and the office seems brighter, lighter somehow. My colleagues greet me with genuine warmth, congratulating me again on my promotion. Their smiles feel earned, real, unlike the hollow accolades I once sought from my family. Jennifer sidles up beside me. I saw the post, she says, nodding toward my phone. Bold move. I shrug, a small smile tugging at my lips. I've waited 32 years for approval. No more. The morning passes in a blur of meetings, client calls, and strategy sessions. Yet, my mind keeps wandering to the lake house. I imagine the curtains flowing in the breeze, the smell of fresh paint mixed with coffee, and the warmth of friends who see me, not just my last name. By noon, the inevitable arrives, my father's email. We need to talk. Now. I read it twice, then delete it. No reply. Not today. I have boundaries, and for once I intend to enforce them. A notification pops up, a missed call from Miles. Another? I silence it, focusing on the work that matters. My work, my accomplishments, my life. Each unanswered message feels like a small victory, a reclaiming of time once spent on guilt and obligations that weren't mine to bear. By mid-afternoon, Lawrence calls me into his office. Quinn, incredible work with Westridge, he begins, sliding a folder across his desk. I peek inside. Numbers, charts, glowing client comments, evidence of my impact. Pride blooms in my chest, not for anyone else, but for myself. Jennifer catches me afterward. You okay? She asks. I nod. Better than okay. I'm finally free. Evening arrives and I leave the office later than usual. The drive to Michigan is quiet, the autumn air crisp. I think about the confrontation that will inevitably come. My parents, my brother, all demanding explanations. But I also think about the albums, the spreadsheets, the diary entries. Evidence, truth, boundaries. At the lake house, I unpack a box of candles and place them in the living room. I light a few, letting the soft glow fill the space. This is mine. My laughter echoes against the walls as Jennifer teases about decorating like we're on a reality show. For the first time, I feel the word home settle comfortably around me. Night falls. I sit on the deck, wrapped in a blanket, glass of wine in hand. The water shimmers under the moonlight, reflecting a life I've chosen, not one imposed. Messages and calls from my family can wait. They have finally learned I am no longer invisible, no longer compliant, no longer a shadow in my own life. The lake whispers possibilities, and I realize that tomorrow will bring confrontation. But tonight I simply breathe, I simply exist, and I am unapologetically, wonderfully me. Sometimes the only way to be seen is to show the world the truth you've been carrying alone. Tonight, I am ready. The morning light filters through the lake house windows, painting everything in shades of gold. I sip my coffee slowly, savoring the warmth, the quiet, the knowledge that for the first time, my mornings belong to me. Jennifer pops her head in, carrying a stack of notebooks. Ready to review the guest list for tomorrow's small gathering? She asks. I nod, flipping through pages. Each name is someone who has celebrated me, who has seen me, who values me. No space for guilt, no room for pretension. By afternoon, my phone vibrates insistently. It's my mother. I ignore it. I've learned patience, the art of waiting while they scramble to understand that I am no longer a passive participant in their narrative. Miles calls next. Another ignored ring. Each unanswered call strengthens the invisible walls I've built, walls of self-respect and newfound power. Evening comes, and the lake house glows with the soft light of candles and the fireplace. I open the third photo album again, the one filled with blank spaces and empty memories of birthdays and milestones overlooked. My hands hover over the pages, lingering on the evidence of a childhood ignored. I feel a surge of something I haven't felt in years. Clarity. I am no longer the child waiting for validation. I am the architect of my own story. Jennifer sets up a small table with wine and appetizers. "This is going to be perfect," she says, eyes bright. I smile. Perfect isn't about perfection anymore. It's about authenticity. Later, I walk out onto the deck, the autumn breeze brushing against my cheeks. The lake stretches endlessly before me, a mirror reflecting possibilities. I think about the confrontation that will happen, the family meeting they insist upon. But I am prepared. I have my evidence, the photo albums, the diary entries, the spreadsheets. They cannot argue with history, with truth. Night deepens, and I sit in the Adirondack chair, letting the world fade around me. The faint sound of a heron gliding over the water is calming. In this moment, I know I am ready for whatever comes next. I am not just defending a house or a bonus. I am defending myself, my choices, my life. Somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispers, "You are finally seen," and I believe it. I breathe in the cold, crisp air and let it fill me. Tomorrow will bring words, confrontation, maybe even resistance. But tonight, the lake house belongs entirely to me, a sanctuary built from a lifetime of ignored birthdays, overlooked achievements, and relentless perseverance. Here I am free, and nothing, no guilt, no manipulation, no family expectation, can take that away. The next morning, I wake early, the autumn sun stretching over the lake, warming the wooden deck. Today, the family meeting begins. My stomach tightens slightly, not from fear, but from anticipation. I have prepared, rehearsed, and memorized my boundaries. I am no longer the girl who shrinks in their presence. The doorbell rings precisely at 10 a.m. I open it to find my parents standing stiffly, their expressions a mixture of confusion and apprehension. Miles lingers behind them, arms crossed, lips pressed thin. They were expecting hesitation, tears, maybe an apology. Instead, they find resolve. "Sit," I say, gesturing to the living room. The photo albums sit on the coffee table, a silent declaration. My mother glances at them, then at me, hesitating. She opens her mouth, but I speak first. "I want you to see this," I say calmly, lifting the first album. "These are the birthdays, holidays, and milestones that mattered to you, but not to me." I flip pages slowly, each photo of Miles, celebrating. Every empty space where I should have been hits them like a slow, undeniable truth. My father's jaw tightens. My mother's hands tremble as she touches a blank page. "Quinn," she begins, but the word dies on her lips. "I was left out," I continue. "Ignored. Forgotten. Every year, for as long as I can remember, your attention and resources went to Miles. I've documented it. I've kept the evidence. Look at the spreadsheets, the diaries, the photos." I lay out each piece meticulously, speaking with clarity, not anger. My voice doesn't waver. Miles shifts uncomfortably, clearly unprepared for this methodical unveiling. "It's not revenge," I say firmly. "It's recognition. For once, I want my life, my achievements, my existence acknowledged. Not in passing, not as an afterthought, not when it benefits you." Silence falls. The ticking clock seems louder than my voice. They look at each other, searching for words. None come easily. Finally, my mother whispers, tears pooling. We didn't realize." "It's not about realizing," I reply, eyes steady on them. "It's about changing. I've spent 32 years waiting for you to see me. Now, I am choosing to see myself." Miles finally speaks, quiet, almost apologetic. I didn't know." His eyes search mine, and I see the recognition of truth there, even if delayed. I close the last album. These albums stay here, I say. A record of what happened, not a tool for guilt. I've moved on. I've built a life where I am seen, appreciated, and celebrated. That lake house, my choices, it's my declaration. I will not shrink for anyone again. My parents nod slowly, a mixture of shame, guilt, and newfound understanding. Miles exhales, finally releasing some of his inherited confidence. There's no victory, no defeat, just acknowledgement. I walk toward the deck, letting the crisp wind brush past me. Today, they see me. Not the Quinn of their choosing, but the Quinn I have chosen to be. The following week, I wake in my lake house to the golden light spilling across the deck. Birds call to one another, the gentle lapping of water against the shore a quiet affirmation. This is my sanctuary, my creation, my declaration of independence. I brew coffee, taking my time, savoring the aroma. Each sip grounds me in the life I've chosen. There's no rush, no obligation, no expectation other than the one I set for myself. The phone sits silent, ignored, intentionally. I feel lighter, unburdened, the weight of years of neglect lifting from my shoulders. Jennifer arrives mid-morning with a basket of pastries. "You look happy," she says, eyebrows raised in surprise. "I am," I answer simply, a smile curving my lips. Finally, I am. We spend the morning organizing the lake house for a small gathering with friends, the people who have always celebrated me, not the ones who merely noticed when convenient. Laughter fills the rooms, uncontrived and warm. Stories are shared, cameras click, and for the first time in decades, I am the center of a celebration without guilt or expectation. The doorbell rings unexpectedly. I pause, recognizing the hesitant rhythm. Miles stands there holding a small gift wrapped with a simple ribbon. "I wanted you to have this," he says, voice quieter than I've ever heard. I take it, not out of obligation, but curiosity. Inside is a photograph of me at 7, swinging on our old tire swing, the sunlight catching my hair, my grin wide and genuine. "I found it in the storage boxes," he explains. "Thought you should see it." A lump rises in my throat, not from reconciliation, not from nostalgia, but from recognition. He finally sees me. Not as an afterthought, not as a comparison to him, but as someone who existed, who mattered, who built her own life. Later, as the sun begins to sink, painting the lake in shades of gold and rose, I sit on the deck with a glass of wine. My phone vibrates, multiple notifications. My mother, my father, even Miles. But today, I do not answer. Today, I have chosen myself. I post a photo to my small circle online. Me on the cedar deck, bare feet brushing the boards, the lake stretching endlessly. Behind me, caption, birthday gift, to myself. Within minutes, messages flood in from friends celebrating my independence, my success, my joy. This acknowledgement is authentic, not performative. I lift my glass to the horizon, a quiet toast to the woman I've become. For 32 years, I waited for others to validate my existence. Now I am my own validation, my own celebration. And that, I realize, is more powerful than anything they could ever give me. The lake ripples, reflecting the last light of day. I finally breathe, fully and freely, the past behind me, the future mine.